Hello, darlings. We are back. It's Reaper Toolbox Pro Tips with your host, Anne. And disembodied voice, disembodied voice, Quindy. Today is the Twilight Zone episode, so we can imagine John stretching into unusual shapes and Justin falling through a portal into the netherworld. Hi, how are you today? You know how my day's going already. Because apparently Quindy's a disembodied voice now instead of disembodied hands. And my intro was totally all over the board. Hello, hello. Oh, wow, Jacob Jansen. Long time no see. Hi. You're even spookier if you're just a voice. I don't know. I think disembodied hands are kind of spooky, but then, you know, Addams Family. So maybe not. Maybe. Depends on if the hand creeped you out or not. You're scared already. You should be. You should be scared. Oh, man. No puppy pictures this morning. Bridget's working. So no pup date from yesterday. It's okay. Oh, wait. Maybe I lied. I might have had a pup date later last night. Let me check this stuff. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Okay, so there is a cute. We'll actually give you a couple cutes here. So first we'll give you this cute, which is a sleepy puppy. So cute. And then the ultimate cute. Here, I'll give you guys the ultimate cute here. Okay. So look closely. It's a little pink girl snuggling her little bear with her little snow toes. You can tell it's pink girl because of her little snow toes. Isn't that the most adorbs? Isn't that the most adorable picture? Like, if we end up getting Pink Girl, I am saving this picture because she's so cute in that picture. So are you guys all totally like, you know, like totally cuteness overload right now? Because you should be. It's so adorbs. So yeah, so this is yes, this is one of the puppies we're in the running to get, and the sable one is another one, and then there's a solid black girl. She's hard to take pictures of, though, so. All right, there's your pup date. That was the most cute adorbs. Adorbs are cute. Oh, and then there's Pink Girl again with her little snow toes. So you can always tell her because of that. If she's one of the dual puppies, if you see those white toes, you can totally tell it's her. So yeah, total cuteness overload. Yes, that's Vex. Yes, Crows. You got it. You're absolutely right. Yeah, snow toes. It's so cute. It makes me miss my puppies. Like, I raised 2 litters. Kiri had 2 litters. And although you don't miss the back-breaking labor of cleaning out the puppy enclosure like 4 or 5 times a day, and you don't miss the poop, and you don't miss whelping, you miss everything else. You miss all the cute that you get to see every day. You miss their little personalities emerging and watching them, like, you know, become individuals. Like right now it's like all neurodevelopment. Like it's really cool because they're switching from very instinctual behavior to actually like understand, like kind of like individual behavior. Like they're no longer just instincts. Like they're slowly learning that they eat through their mouths and things like that, you know. When puppies first encounter food, they go for full body contact because they don't really understand what to do with it yet. She's Vex for now, but we'll see. It does all depend on temperament, but yeah, she's cute. She's a cutie. They're all cute. That's the problem, right? They're adorbs. The black ones are just hard to get pictures of because it's hard to get a picture of a black dog or a black cat. Although Kuroniko manages to get pictures of her black cat all the time, you were truly accomplished. Maybe it's because he's always wearing something. But yes. All right, we have a kitty. I'm going to do some gold and then maybe some steel and maybe some orange. And, you know, we're just going to do some stuff today. We're going to do some stuff. We have to continue filling in the kitty. The kitty must be filled in. Fill in kitty. There we go. Nice and sharp. Nice and sharp for the kitty. Yeah, it's kitty day. That's right. Alrighty, let me grab my paint. What do I want to. Yeah, I'll just use the standard. Well, kind of the standard. I'll mix my NMM today with rich leather and sun yellow because I have those colors right to hand. Lots of light and low light mode on the phone camera. That's interesting, Kerniko. Well, if I end up getting a really dark puppy, if I end up getting a black puppy, then I'll totally utilize that. Thank you. We don't need a lot of gold NMM, so we are just mixing a tiny bit. Just 3 drops, 1 drop. Hey, War Shadow. Yes, the puppies are so cute. So cute, puppies. That is what their job is, right? Their job is to be cute. Hey, Roger. Realized I forgot to put my lotion on my hands today, which is annoying. That is the thing about California. It is freaking dry out here. I love the temperature, but it's freaking dry. All right, let's see here. Let me get my water. We're going to mix up our colors. We're just going to go with 1 drop of water in the one, 2 drops of water in the other, and then we're going to mix a highlight. So, yes, yeah, mine was a black cat with green eyes, and it does definitely help, right? Oh, Trasharama, you figured out your prime reset, and I see why you were peeved that it wouldn't do it yesterday, because it's time for a song. Time for a song. Triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary, happy triple sub-anniversary to Trasharama with the 36 months. Awesomer Terabad. That's funny. Speaking of Terabad, I have to go to the DMV today. We all know how that is, right? It's one of those things that you do not look forward to. My cat was pretty good because he was very attentive. I have a couple of good shots of Panther. I was just going through and pruning my camera photos the other day because I realized that I had way too many. Because when you have 4,000 photos, it's like, I could probably get rid of a third of these. So we've got our 1 drop of water in there. We're going to get more water over here. This is our yellow plus 1 drop of that rich leather. I'm going to grab a couple of big brushfuls of that and grab my pure white. Yeah, some dogs do that too. Yeah, appointments over here, I'm afraid. I'm just going to go and stand in line. I'll bring my computer so I can, like, work on stuff. Work on my PDF. So since I use Sun Yellow, and Sun Yellow is not as orange as Lantern Yellow, we're not getting as orange a progression on our gold NMM colors. And I kind of like that because I've got an orange kitty, and I want the NMM to stand out separately from him. So, I see Crowley. I think I'm going to reward my puppy for looking at the camera. So, like, I'm clicker training for this puppy. I've never done that before. And I think I'm going to reward her for looking attentively at the camera. Some of our previous dogs were great camera hogs and some weren't. Leo would mug for the camera nonstop, but Kiri was just like, no. The wax paper. Oh no, the wax paper trick. Yes, we draw closer now. We're closer to when you guys get full-on pup dates all the time. Because I have it. I have the puppy. We're almost there. So I did thin this a little bit much. The rich leather is pretty transparent, and I didn't add a higher coverage color into it this time. But that's all right. Since I'm going over white primer, it's not a deal breaker. You're giving away all your secrets. That's fine. Giving away secrets for pet photography is like something that needs to be done to make the world a better place, Kerniko. Unlike other things where you may, doubt giving away your secrets is valuable, the more cute photos that people can get of their adorable pets to fill the world with, the better. Therefore, it is never a bad thing to help people with pet photography. In my opinion. Believe me, I wish that I could help all of our Shiloh Shepherd owners with photography because so many of them are terrible at it. And I want better pictures of their dogs, damn it. All right, so a couple coats and we're fine. Yeah, exactly. Filling the internet with cute pet photos is not a waste of time or effort. But yeah, like on Monday, the puppers will be 3 weeks old. And I will have only 5 weeks more of pupless freedom before the pupper takes over our lives. Before I need to like actually make a veterinarian appointment again. Hey, Val. Doing the cat lord's work. That's funny. Pup date section on the Discord. Well, I already have a cute animals, and I don't want to necessarily like just like stuff a bunch of stuff about my puppy. I made cute animals on purpose so that I could like put up pictures of my animal, but also so all the rest of you could put up pictures of your animals. I think that my puppy does not need to have her very own channel. I'm gonna mix up some walnut for lining, guys, just so I can have something to go to. I just realized I didn't line around the pommel of the sword there. But yeah, my puppy will not need to have a whole channel to herself. She can share with the rest of the animals out there. Though I may make a YouTube channel. I'm kind of like split on the YouTube channel. Like, I like doing YouTube a lot, but do I really need another video to edit every month? I don't know. Depends on how, like, whole hog I go in on this whole puppy training thing. There we go. A little bit of lining, just a little bit of shadow there around to define that pommel. And then a little bit more shadow in here. And then we've got it nicely defined. Yeah, if I did a YouTube channel for the puppy, I kind of want to because I kind of want to have something. I feel like our organization, our dog organization, could use a kind of week by week guide to your new puppy. So since I'm going to have a new puppy, and it's my only puppy, so I have the time. I don't have to. It seems like I would have more time to do this than some breeders who already have a dog or two. It would be kind of good to put together a guide. Although I could probably just use our club YouTube channel at that point. Maybe my friend Cynthia would put it up for me. Oh yeah, yeah. People don't realize how fast they grow up. They're only a cute little fluff ball for like a few weeks until they start getting leggier and looking different. They're still adorbs. I don't know. I think Shilohs are adorbs all their lives. I still was taking pictures of Kiri when she was an old dog all the time. There we go. What I do regret is not getting more pictures of Leo moving, because Leo had a beautiful trot. That was why he won so many Best in shows. But I never like got it on video, and I'm kind of just kicking myself. There we go. So shadowing there under the hilt so we get some definition. We can be messy with it because we haven't done our base coat here, and likewise around the tail here. We can be messy with it because we haven't painted the blade at all. So, oh, Iffy, almost time. So yeah, we already had a song. We had a song for Trasharama. And I showed a very cute picture of puppies. Of a puppy. Told David I'm starting to get biased. And he was like, no, you can't be biased. I was mostly joking. I'm always like hungrily perusing like the pictures of the puppies, trying to figure out which one of the girl puppies is going to be mine. I think that's a natural thing when you're on, a litter and you're looking at all these puppies and you're like, who will be my puppy? It's a huge mystery and it's so much fun to think about. I think it's inevitable to get biased, but in our breed, you really don't know until you do the temperament testing. So I may like have kind of a private opinion, but if the temperament testing doesn't shore that up, I'm going to be perfectly happy with whatever puppy I get. I do want to put a hard line between the helmet and these scale mails. Because it's definitely, even though it's still armor, it's a different type of surface. Ugh, my allergies are going today. I might have to close the window. Pardon me while I sneeze. Oof. Feeling my itchy nose. Maybe it's just that I have a little bit of an uptick this morning. Ugh. Yeah, something is out there. It's trying to get me. I didn't really do a lot. Like, if you're going to do Sky Earth on anything, Crows, you kind of want to do Sky Earth on everything. And the last place I'd actually want to do, like, an actual Sky Earth would be out here, where it's not at all close to the important part of the model. That said, yeah, you could put a little tail reflection in there. A lot of the time, and I talk about this a bit. Gosh, when did I talk about it? I actually talk about it in my new PDF for $5, which is about painting your own shadows. And it talks a bit about warm shadows, which feature reflected light and color. On 28mm, yeah, you can do a tiny bit, but it's going to be so subtle that oftentimes it won't even be noticed. Yeah, maybe I'll show the picture later, Iffy. It's a very cute picture. There wasn't too much. I got a couple of pictures from Bridget yesterday, Pendrake, but I did show a very, very extreme cute picture, so maybe we'll show that. We'll re-show the extreme cute picture toward the end of the stream. But yeah, the thing with 28mm is you can show reflected color. The best places to do it are where it would be strongest, because at this scale, you just wouldn't see very much. And so, like, where it makes sense is, and again, I'll talk about this for those of you who are my patrons, patreon.com/paintingbig. I got a $5 PDF on creating your own shadow colors, and we're talking about this, and essentially shiny surfaces and really light colored surfaces. So, like, I give the example of metal, metallics and non-metallics. Then, like, if I was going, say I was doing like a reddish brown flagstones down here, it would make sense to use a little bit of that reddish brown down here on the interior of the leg, and maybe over here where you would get a little bit of reflection right down near the ground. Another example I gave is if you have like a mage or a druidess in like a white dress, and the ground is, say, maybe a really bright green, like grass and forest stuff, it makes sense to put a little bit of green in your shadows. But at 28mm, most reflected stuff is just not going to show up. It's going to be very subtle, and to do it more bold looks wrong. Unless you are doing very much traditional Sky Earth. But again, that Sky Earth, like on my the Paladin model that I was painting, where you can see the tree reflection and everything, doing that is pretty much freehand. And that means you're essentially waving a huge sign to the viewer saying, hey, look at this. And I would at the very least need to do that on the breastplate. if I was doing it on the sword. I would need to pull the attention away from the sword a bit. Wherever you put freehand is where you're drawing the eye. I already have a little bit of that with the stripes on the tail, but happily the face is engaging enough that I think it doesn't pull your attention too much. If I do too much reflection on the sword, though, or too much tight work, it will pull the attention. It will risk pulling the attention away from the face. Rat pup at the end. Crows, you're funny. But yeah. All right. So anyway, that's like kind of just the composition of your Sky Earth. That's why you see a lot of people do it on breastplates, because the breastplate's right up near the face. It's part of this focal point of the model that kind of tells you, because the chest and shoulders and arms of the piece and the face are telling you what the model's like mood is. Like, is it angry? Is it active? Is it passive? What's the energy of this piece? What's the model doing? And so this is the important part, and that's where a lot of your freehand or interesting pieces should go. To go away from that, unless you are doing something to kind of balance it, is kind of like just not ideal in composition. Ha. Yeah, Justin, who has a new baby and no sleep and has absolutely no time for my silliness. Yeah, I'll do that right away, Pendrake. Not. Oh, dear. Right, exactly. Where the eye needs to go. Like, the important part trumps, like, little details that mostly won't get noticed. Yeah, but, I mean, you can almost see. One way to test this is, and you guys probably can't even see this, but when I look at the model, when I point it toward the light, I can pick up just a very slight orange tint, like a little bit of a warmer tint on the underside of this white compared to this part because of the tail under it. But I have to look really close, and it's almost just not there. And it's not actually like, it's just like a tiny bit on the bottom of the blade here. So that's like where you ask yourself, and you can over accentuate something like that if you want. It just looks a little weird. All right. That said, I have noticed that I actually have a mold line that I did not remove in that part of the sword. So I'm going to do a little bit of a touch up here. To get that out of there. There. That should work. Yeah, I mean, always question it, and if you want to do it just because it makes you happy, then do it. But what I'm trying to do is not to convince you not to do it on your own model, but to give you the reasons why, it might not be a great compositional choice, so that you can at least make an educated choice. Now, if you know that and you're just like, no, I really want to do this, do it. Do it. Ignore me. But for me, it does bother me when it looks, because you guys know I like realism. Like, I like it to feel like the model's actually, alive and that it makes sense visually for me. That's just the way I am. I'm anal that way. So, but you can do whatever you like on your models. You can totally ignore me and go crazy, and it'll be fine because it's your mini. As long as you're happy with it, it doesn't matter. But I do like to bring up best practices for sure. My dropper bottle is just like acting like it's very kind of persnickety lately. It's like it wants to drop one drop, but it doesn't want to drop two, and then it drops one when I'm not ready for it. And yeah, it's a persnickety dropper bottle. Maybe I need a new dropper bottle. I think Justin at this point is pretty indispensable. Just my thought. Although I don't know, Quindy's pretty much like a replacement Justin who's better. That was me totally pandering to you, Quindy. Mostly because the only reason I say that, Quindy, is that Justin always has somebody trying to bug him for something else during streams, whereas you have that, but you somehow still manage to pay attention to us. So that is the edge. That gives you the edge. Totally the edge. It is okay once I get past my DMV appointment today, Twistoma. I really am dreading it. Because I have to go through all my stuff and dig up some stuff to bring there just in case they need it. Because essentially I couldn't change my address online with the DMV for my car registration. So I essentially paid for my registration and then never got it because they wouldn't let me change my address. So I have to go and wrangle. But of course I don't have a registration card because I wasn't able to get my renewed registration. And yeah, it's just that kind of thing. So I'm going to say, like, just, you know, this is me. I've lived here in California for like 2 years now. And the things I love about California, restaurants, ethnic restaurants, like really good, like Indian, Thai, Japanese, Chinese. Oh my gosh. If it's Asian, then you can find grocery stores. You can find that. And of course, the weather is gorgeous. The scenery is amazing. I can see mountains every day. I mean, come on. The things that I miss, though, are like doctors in Texas, like just the medical care in general, and mechanics. I had such a good mechanic in Texas. Oh, my Lord. So, like, I feel like California does some things very well, and I feel like Texas definitely does the other things much better. I got my car registered in California and it wasn't bad. It's just I need to renew it now. No, DMV. Much worse than D&D. Were you? Did you wave to me, Red Links? Yeah, I mean, there are some things I do really like about this state. And there are some things I definitely miss about. Also lawn care. Lawn care in Texas I found to be superior. Like, just like having a lawn care professional and the quality of work you got. Like, oh yeah. So like so I cannot say like, I won't say, you know, there are a lot of things that Texas does right. Like, some people would expect that, you know, me moving to California, I would just be like, California is so superior, but that's not the case at all. I've lived enough different places at this point that I can be a little unbiased about certain things. There we go. A little bit of highlight there. Kind of mapping out. This time I'm doing it. Usually I put shadows in first. This time I'm putting highlights in first just for fun because I have them mixed up. Yeah. We have a tiny lawn in the backyard. I insisted on this, actually, Inara, when we were seeking our house. I insisted on this because puppy. I knew I wanted a puppy, and I wanted the puppy to be able to just go outside and have a little bit of grass to do business in. And also to romp around on. So we have, I want to say our lawn is maybe like 16, 17 feet deep. And maybe 40, 50 feet from end to end? 40 feet, maybe? We have a big patio at one end, and that's stone, you know, that's tiled. Good. Yay, internet. But yeah, I wanted a quote-unquote just enough lawn for a dog, Inara. I didn't want to have to take care of anything larger. I just wanted this patch of grass. Patch of grass for the puppy. That's it. And this is pretty much perfect. We have a park just down the road if I want to take the puppy out for a big grass outing. But we have little grass. Our front lawn is entirely desert-scaped, which is very nice. Like, nice water conservation thing. All right, so this, again, this gold that I mixed up is not as orangey as a gold that I would usually mix up. And the reason for that is I want it to be very distinct color-wise from the fur. And I think that is actually a pretty good call there. Oh, were they? Oh, Shoreline Amphitheater. Yeah. We were in the city, actually. If you had waved in our direction in Mountain View, you would have been waving in the wrong direction. We went into San Francisco, we got invited to a 4th of July party. But yeah, I could see where Shoreline would be the place to go for 4th of July if you're here. Alrighty. Just kind of figuring out what shape this little doodad at his throat is, and it's a diamond. Usually during the summer, if it's very hot, we used to have rolling brownouts in North Texas. I do remember that. I think I need to like get a little better coverage on my mid yellow here, so I'm actually going to throw my sun yellow. I'm going to mix a slightly less thinned batch of my middle color here, because I want a little better coverage. And this little catch at his throat for his cloak is maybe a touch. It's a touch small. I think I might need to do underpainting on it to really get the shape to come out. So I'm going to do that in just a sec. Just going to mix up a little bit more of my colors. But yeah, I'm glad your internet is doing better, Pendrake. It's always such a pain when the internet is screwed up. There we go. Hopefully that gets me a little bit better. And I'm going to use my, I'm going to actually color over this with walnut and then do white underpainting. Yeah, that's what they would, that's what my experience is too, Pendrake, is that they'll say, hey, these are the high periods. Please, you know, turn off everything you can. All right, now I want to kind of go and block in the center part of this little amulet, little brooch, leaving the edge, and I'm gonna put white over that walnut and leave a little space around it. It's very hard to put a little dark line around that center section, but it's very easy to paint it all walnut and then just put a dot of white in the middle. We're not going to do it as a gemstone though. We're totally going to do it just as gold within gold. There. And then we'll do some gold. Just so we can get that color going on. I'm going to put a little extra around the edges just to make sure the color's really solid. This is a very small thing, and sometimes it's hard when you're doing a tiny piece of jewelry. It's very hard to get the color to translate correctly. It tends to just kind of turn into a blob of whatever because it's so small. So let's try to put some yellow on it. And I'm also going to do these handles here like they're brass. But I'm using pretty much the same color for gold and brass in this case. And if you look at it, this really is actually a brassy color. It's not nearly as golden as I would normally use. Oh no, Twitch. Sorry if your Twitch is twitchy. Please refresh. I'm not getting any messages from OBS, so. I'm shedding on myself. Giant hair. Prusona, puppy shedding. Although they don't shed when they have their baby puppy coats. That starts later. I think one thing I don't have is like brushes still. I'll have to check. That's on my list for the weekend, is going through Kiri's old stuff and seeing what I have and what I'm missing for a pupster. I think I'll give the pupster Kiri's old bowl. Really no reason to get a new doggy dish. Unless I see one that's like super cute. Ah, okay. Twitchy. It was Twitch. We'll blame Twitch. Hashtag blame Twitch. That's pretty funny, Twistoma. Somebody had a sense of humor. I always appreciate little senses of humor. That was a warning. Your car may have rattlesnakes underneath its sign. So just a little bit of gold there. It's not going to show real strong. If you really want it to pop yellow, you could take a little bit of your sun yellow, or even something a little stronger, like maybe candlelight yellow, which is a little more orange, but against the purple it would be fine. You can see the difference here. Candlelight is a lot orangier. It's a little bit more saturated. Sun yellow has good coverage, but it uses a couple different yellows. It uses a little bit of green shade yellow as well. It's not as strongly orange as this. But it is a brighter yellow, so I did not, Quindy. I really don't need any more. I don't need more bus. I tell myself desperately seeking not to spend more money because Ignis art. But I'll go look. David ordered me some busts for my birthday too. I'm waiting for those to come. Yeah. I need to paint faster. You know that feeling? Ah. Oh, speaking of which, she's so pretty, huh? Okay, I'll look. I'll go look after the stream. Maybe I'll look while I'm waiting in line at the in line at the DVM. Or DMV. That thing. It's a day. Have I mentioned it's a day? It's just a day. I knew it was going to be a day the moment I woke up. My brain is operating in backwards, sideways, upside down mode. For sure. Yeah, what they do, oh no, Madzik, it's okay. Yeah, for Daffodweir, I'll agree with you. Although yesterday was pretty good. Kodiak, they make things called academic busts, which are very, very simple busts. Which, if you have never painted a bust before, can be useful for practicing. And usually an academic bust is a little less expensive than a lot of the, like, big crazy busts out there. So, Hera Models, Hera, Hera Models has a line of academic busts that are pretty cool and, you know, good for practice. Sometimes when you're starting out with busts, you can get overwhelmed if your bust has a lot of crazy stuff on it. So starting with a simpler one is sometimes a good idea. Oh, I need to unclog this bottle. Just going to take my candlelight yellow and make a little bit of a puddle so that I can make this a little yellower. Because the brighter it is, the more it's going to actually show up. Yeah, busts are a very expensive branch. Yeah, academic busts are they call them academic busts because they're ideal for classes. When you're teaching a class, having something that's mostly skin with maybe just a little cloth and some hair is makes your class a lot easier. You don't have a lot of time to teach different subjects, even in a 2-day seminar, if you're allowing people time to paint. I learned that the hard way. So using an academic bust instead of something with a lot of different surfaces and craziness on it can be very, very useful. So that's why the name, but they're just a very useful starter bust as well, and especially because they do tend to be a little less expensive. And they're still fun, like, because they're still usually pretty good characters. And yeah, if you have a 3D printer, then the world is yours. I'm still considering. I've gotten a little closer to pulling the trigger on a 3D printer. The longer I wait, the better they'll be, right? But the more people post really beautiful resin prints on my 3D printing talk channel on my Discord, the more I get kind of thinking about it. Puppy does trump printer, and the puppy is going to be bloody expensive, so yeah. I need a little bit of shadow on this. I'm going to grab my russet brown. This is reading just very flat right now, so I need to put just a very simple band of shadow on it. So I'm going to get my russet brown out, and I'm going to thin it about 2:1 because I want it to be pretty good. Pretty solid consistency. Russet has an excellent coverage, so this isn't going to thin it very much. It's essentially thinning it enough so it'll come off my brush nicely, but I still want it to be very dark because I'm trying to make a transition on this tiny little brooch at his throat. I was using Etsy People Pendrake, but the easier it gets to like add the supports and remove the supports, and the easier the whole interface gets to do things, the more likely I am to pick it up. Because every time I look, there's more great models. So I'm just going to put a shadow on each side of this little outline. And that's going to give me just enough. You can see how that changes the look. It's not flat anymore. But yeah, I don't know any local people who print, so I was using Etsy before. But the quality is just really variable. So I stopped because I had to do, there was one bust I got that I really liked, but oh my god, the print lines. I managed to fix it with liberal application of gloss sealer and my buffing tool, but it was work, and I would rather be painting, so I always come back to that. But David does a lot of basing stuff, and a 3D printer would probably be really worth it for him, because then he could print out little, like, you know, like tree limbs and barrels and shingles and, you know, stuff. He could get a lot of files for just random basing scenery stuff. And I feel like that would really make things a little easier for him. But yeah, I don't need another hobby with the puppy about to roll out. So I keep reminding myself that puppy does trump 3D printer. But if David wants to sling the money at one, I now have an idea what I want. All right, I think that's kind of good enough. I'm going to pop a little bit of a sharp white highlight on the top if I can. Yeah, I mean, but can they print it really high quality resin Kodiak? Like, you know, it's like I want to do is I want to print it at such a high level that there's almost no prep. Like, I don't want to ever see print lines. I want it really, really good. And so it's not worth it to me if I can't. If I have to do extra work, it's not worth it for me. I don't want this to be an all-consuming hobby. It would be a very utilitarian hobby for me. Because it's kind of on, when it comes down to construction, guys, like construction and like, there are exceptions. Obviously my wolf I just converted, you know, that was a lot of work. But I really loved that model. But he's an exception. Usually when it comes to building, converting, sculpting, and building elaborate basing and stuff like that, that's not what I really enjoy about the hobby. I know a lot of people do really enjoy it, but I know that I don't. So with 3D printers, I kind of have to give them a skeptical eyeball because I know that that's the kind of thing that is cool about them is not the kind of thing I technically like to do. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is there's a lot of STL only Kickstarters, right? With a lot of very cool models and dragons and busts and... Yeah, I think that's going to be good enough for that. All right, let's do these little handles. Yeah, they're getting better. That's why I've put it off, Kodiak, is I figure that over time, the whole removing supports thing is going to get easier and easier. Like, people are going to get, like, things will get even better engineered. And there's certainly a point where you just can't get better engineered, but if we could get to that point, that would make it a lot easier for me, because the less work I need to do on that, the better. The less cleanup, the better. I think Big Child and Ignis Art have really spoiled me, because their models, when they come, are almost perfect. Like, I can maybe find a single mold line if I really, really look hard. And for me, that's ideal because it means I can jump right into prep and like just painting without having a ton of prep work. I just need to prime it and assemble what parts I want. And that's like, that's my like perfect world there. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what's driven me away from 3D printing, because it does sound like, you know, it's prep work. And I'm sure that there are parts of it that I would find maybe just fun and relaxing and interesting. But yeah, right now I feel like I'm kind of full. I'm kind of full. I need to like look carefully before I invest in another hobby that... I just need to make sure that it's really something I want to do. Because, like, I started, you know, trying to knit for fun, which is totally my niece's fault. And I like that because I can bring that with me on vacation and sit and do it while I'm talking to people. And it's not like I have to ignore them. Like, I can still be an active part of the conversation. And it's not like, I could do that with mini painting, but I didn't have to bring my whole setup, all those paints and the models and everything. So I think maybe that the knitting is my new travel hobby. Yeah. Yeah, they do. They're super fragile. I get that too, Kerniko. That's really nice, that, Deska. That's really nice. Yeah, you're spoiled. Totally. Yeah, that's been my attitude up to now, Crows. And I did order some really nice things off of Etsy and got really high quality prints, and you know, those are, but it's like there's so much good stuff out there. Putting a darker shadow there behind his shoulder. You can see where I blended that in. All right, now I can start getting these little brass handles figured out. Just got to look around a little bit on the model at this point, see if there's anything else that needs to be brass. Yeah, I need to paint the back here. I mean, I could have made these little scale bits also brass, but I don't know that I want to do that. I kind of like having them kind of like silver wings almost. Yeah, that's what I like about it, Kroniko, is I can grab Ugly Scarf and just take it with me everywhere. Ugly Scarf is my project, by the way. That's its official name. I'm very proud of Ugly Scarf. All right, we've got a little bit of extra detailing here. We got a little bolt to hit. Yes, Ugly Scarf is its name. It's the first thing you... Well, actually, I did a lot of swatches. Because I did a lot of swatches, and then I started Ugly Scarf. And I figured by the time I'm done with Ugly Scarf, I'll be able to work with my super pretty yarn that I really love without, like, making too many mistakes. But I am all for having the ugly first project. Like, I've learned from miniatures that that's a thing. Yeah, I just think, man, I just think of all the models that I have right now that I want to work on, and I need to, like, go back. You know what? You know, because a lot of that stuff's going to be available online for a while in one way or another. So I can take a break and work on my stash. I have some beautiful things. Beautiful things to paint. You want to be friends with Ugly Scarf? Ugly Scarf does have a great personality. And it's made with bulky wool, and so it's quite substantial. Makes you feel like it will actually keep your neck warm in the winter. One thing I like about it is that, you know, I have kind of a short neck, so I like narrower scarves, and I could make Ugly Scarf exactly the width I wanted. This is the weird thing about making actual things you actually wear, right? I've never experienced this before. All right, down here. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the things I got. Like, obviously Noel, I started putting paint on Noel, but Noel, that's a 3D print. But man, she's got too much hair, guys. Like, Noel has too much hair. Like, so much hair. Oh my gosh, so much hair. Like, there's just so much hair. Like, I need to, at some point, I will make a push to finish Noel, but I will just have to, like, put myself on autopilot and just go and do the hair. Just do it. I made a lot of them when I started Kroniko, like a lot. Like with different yarns and different sizes of needles, so that, and I kept them all so that I could get a feel for kind of the denseness of the, like how things varied, like how the bigger needles compared to the little needles to the mid needles and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Noli's pretty, but man, they're just too much hair. I've learned that about myself, about, like, too much hair. Like, all those dreadlocks are a ton of braids. Like, that's all work. It's a lot of work. And that I've learned that now I have a definite threshold for how long I can put effort into such a thing before I absolutely lose oomph on it and need to put it aside for a while. So I'm going to put a white highlight up here on the top of that handle just to pick it out, and the top over here. Oh, they're all tossed in a bag, but at least I have them, Kroniko. But I do have, remember, I've got a very, you can tell from the way I work and from the way that I teach, I think, that I have a very regimented brain. Like, it's a very, I like things to be in order. I like things to be, you know, like, to make sense, you know? So it shouldn't be too surprising that I had an unmessy way of learning the new hobby. I'm also not rushing it. Like, I think that's an important thing. One thing I really love about starting a new hobby is it informs like how I teach mini painting. Um, I think an important thing to note is that you don't have to rush and finish things when you're just starting out. Like, you can if you want to, but don't feel like you have to rush. Like, take your time, enjoy yourself. Nobody's like, sitting here staring at you saying you need to finish that, unless of course you've, started playing Warhammer or something. Then your friends are like, you need to finish that and play with us. But in any other circumstance, if you are just starting this hobby for fun, just relax, enjoy the process. You're going to actually probably learn more that way. Unless you are the type of learner who like just wants to throw themselves at numerous projects and that's the way you learn, like that's a valid way to learn too. But don't think you have to do that. Like kind of figure out like how you work. The best way to learn a new thing is to actually figure out the best way that you learn. Period. But yes, I need to. We have a great book. I'm not a big person into AK products, but they do have a book on like building like dioramas and scenery, and I'm totally getting that book tonight and sitting down with it and looking through it for inspiration because I need to make a base for my Limbo model that I want to start. I at least need to have something before I start painting her. I don't want to tack her on a base that I'm not going to keep her on. So I need to figure out where she is, and I need to, like, maybe I should investigate some new terrain and base building techniques. All right. We have handles now. Our shield has handles. And they're not, like, really glaring. I kept the color a little bit darker, a little bit dimmer. Unlike where I put a yellow glaze over this, and this is warmer so you can see the yellow. These are just kind of there. There's just enough detail to show you that they're there, but they're not pulling attention away from anything else. We all wish that we had someone to hound us, Kodiak. Sometimes and that's it's actually there's two types of people, and then there's people who of course fall on the spectrum, but there are externally motivated people and internally motivated people, and then there are people who are somewhere between. But external motivated people have trouble motivating if they don't have an external pressure on themselves. So sometimes the best thing that you can do is to get a painting accountability buddy, Kodiak. Or join Reaper Challenge League, because that gives you a community and a goal every month, and you can interact with the people and they'll help keep you accountable if that's what you want. But probably the best, that's one of the best ways to get yourself to paint more, is to join Reaper Challenge League and start doing the challenges. And that way you're doing a cool thing. You can show off your mini at the end. You're working along with people. You're working on kind of the same sorts of things. You can learn a lot, and it motivates you to paint more. Yeah, Pendrake, maybe you are an internally motivated person. I also hate being hounded, and having an accountability buddy is actually the doom of any project I do. Like, give me an accountability buddy, and I will show you an Anne that does not want to do the project anymore. Yeah, maybe find a person who is willing to who also needs help. Like if you can find someone like you, Kodiak, who's online company you enjoy and who is also having trouble motivating themselves to paint or to stick to a thing, and you can just message each other every day a little bit, it could motivate you to maybe spend 20 minutes painting a day, something like that. Because, yeah, it's easy to start a project and then fall off if you don't have a personal investment. So if you can find a friend online on the Reaper community, somebody that you really like, who also maybe needs a motivating buddy, then, that might help you and help them. That's my other suggestion. Yeah, I'm a very... I missed stuff. Oh no, I missed stuff. Because I was pontificating. When you pontificate a lot, folks, you cannot see all the chat. News. Oh, I see. Totally messed up my cardigan and started pulling it apart. Yep. Yes, I like dogs, but I also train my dogs very well, Pendrake, so that they're not ill-mannered. I know you were making a pun. That's most people deadline, Zeke. That used to be me, where I couldn't get anything done unless it was the day before a deadline. Since then, I've realized that I don't enjoy being stressed. Doing that was making me stressed. So I engaged my planning mind and started making time throughout the week to work on projects. So you got to ask yourself, like, which thing you hate more. I really hated being stressed. I really hated being last minute. I realized that I would enjoy myself a lot more if I didn't, if I just made a little time. So sometimes you do have to step in and understand that. For me, it was just stepping in and saying, it's not that my brain says that I must be a procrastinator. It's that I've been too disorganized to not just spend a little time every day. And then I started doing that and I stopped being a paint procrastinator. Like nowadays, I essentially will be like, rather than doing a rush panic to deadline, if I am getting close to deadline and I can see that I have not made enough progress, I will simply not enter, or I will not complete. I just won't. I'll just put the project aside. I refuse to stress about it. It's my hobby, and it needs to stay fun for me. Because it's also my career. And, so anything I'm doing on my own time really needs to stay enjoyable. Most people don't dog father. I mean, RCL is just useful if you are willing to paint Reaper models in the cause of, making yourself paint more in general. But yeah, if you have a lot of models that you want to paint that are not Reaper, then that's totally different. So yes, finding somebody like you who needs a buddy, that's something. Maybe there should be a Painting Buddies channel where you can meet people and chat and hook up with somebody who can help you stay accountable. Maybe that would be cool. A cool thing to have. And you wouldn't want to sign up there unless you both needed a buddy and were willing to be somebody's buddy. That'd be kind of a cool thing. There, just a little bit more of a highlight on the bottom side of this NMM. Yeah, exactly, Cornico. That's something with every creative, by the way. Like, I have the same thing with writing, where I'll be like, ugh, and then I'll look at it later and I'll be like, oh. Oh, there are non-Reaper categories in the RCL? Cool. Alrighty, so we got our gold down, and now we've got about 20 minutes. Let's see if I can find my Moonstone Blue, or if I put it in a different place. That is Ice Devil Blue. That is not Moonstone Blue. That is not the correct blue either. That is not the correct... Man, I'm just like... There we go. Yay, Moonstone. Do I have my... Yeah, I have my key. All right, so we had Moon, and Carbon Gray. That was our silver color. Yes, trying to sell painted minis is your painting buddy. Yeah, I totally get that. Good job, Nomad Zeke. But look out, Nomad Zeke, or you'll have her job. But yeah, that's eBay. eBay did that for me too, trying to sell painted minis. What's your painting buddy money? Yeah, legit. Totally legit. All right, so 5 drops of Moon and 1 drop of Carbon Gray. And the reason we use Carbon Gray is because it has immense coverage. But the reason we're using Moonstone, i.e. Moon Blue, is that it has that bluish cast I want. That kind of sky silver kind of cast. So 5 drops of the Moon. I go a little bit over. Yeah, it's Moon. It's totally the meme too. I call it Moon because of the meme. Oh, nice, Kariniko. We can do a late pup date. 1 second. Let me mix up this color. I need to put 1 drop of carbon into my Moon. There. Moonstone blue. It's in the same triad as carbon gray. These guys are the guys we're using for our metal. It's mostly Moonstone. Moon. But it has 1 drop of carbon gray in it. 1 second. Must have the cutest picture. All right, I'm just going to show the cutest picture because you guys are late. The cutest picture is tiny puppy snuggling her little bear. That's Pink Girl, by the way. Vex. Total snuggles. Oh, and if you had a soft, fluffy bear, you would snuggle too. Isn't it cute? Isn't it just the most adorbs? There you are. There's your pup date. Yeah, baby puppy. She's so cute. She's the super cutest. Super cutest. Anyway, there you go. There's your tiny baby puppy pup date. They are getting to look more like dogs now. There's Black Boy, Vax. He's her the twin. So he's lying down. But you can see they're starting. Their legs are getting longer and thicker, and they've still got huge heads. But he's going to be a black and tan. Like he's very much going to be like traditional German Shepherd coloration. Oh, and do you guys want to see Kiri's son? Kiri and Leo's son. I actually dug out a picture to show Bridget the other day, but his name is Saber, and he lives in Arizona. But that is, he's probably the prettiest puppy. So that's what a Shiloh Shepherd, like a really pretty Shiloh Shepherd picture. He's almost a bicolor, so he's mostly black with just the tan points. But yeah, so that's Kiri's kid. One of Kiri's kids. I'm very proud of all of Kiri's kids. Yeah, Shilohs tend to be good-looking dogs. Like pet or breed quality, doesn't matter. Shilohs tend to be pretty good-looking. All right, I'm going to put a drop of water into that color, which is mostly the Moonstone Blue, and just 1 drop of Carbon Gray. Mix it up. I want to do a base coat and then go up from there. Ooh, I think I got a little bit too much Carbon Gray in there. It took over, but that's all right. We can start dark and work late. None of our dogs really still liked a stuffed animal, have had a favorite stuffed animal into their adulthood, mostly because they all would rip them up. Leo had a dragon that was full of squeakies, like tons of squeakers. It was a big long dragon that he just loved, but he loved it because he wanted to totally destroy it. So have never had a puppy that really continued to be okay with stuffed toys into adulthood. Mostly they switched to bones. They all enjoyed settling on the couch with me and chewing a bone. So we've got really nice coverage on this. Your dog won. Please discard this squeaker. Yep. Yep. We did not stick to the stuffed toys, really, because we didn't want to kind of train our dogs to get into the habit of destroying what they were playing with. Except for our super, super, like, crazy dog. The crazy dog. The very, very high maintenance dog. He was going to destroy no matter what you gave him, including it like one of those rubber tires that are super tough. He was just that way. All the other dogs, though, they were very good about it after being puppies. So we'll see. I'm very curious to see what kind of toys this puppy likes, because every dog I've ever had has liked different types of toys. They're very individual about that. Need to make sure I don't totally lose my shadow line there to keep the tail separate from the sword. There we go. Did pretty good on that side. Pretty good coverage. Think I still need to get the bottom a little bit. Oh, that's cute. Aw, that's really cute, Chromatic. Oh, hey, the Scrub Jay is back. Hi, Scrub Jay. Big blue bird. He just really likes that particular spot on my fence. Like, I really feel kind of guilty because I don't have any, like, food out there. But I suppose he probably is looking for stuff from the plum tree. I don't know if they eat fruit, but a lot of birds do. Right, bird? Are you making noises out there? I'm just hearing these big squawks. Oh, there he is, up on the fence again. Did you find something? Oh, I hear another one out there. He's like squawking, and then there's another identical squawk. Huh. The Scrub Jays like our yard. Oh, I'm sure. They better not touch my strawberries. We actually got a strawberry yesterday, guys. A strawberry that the animals did not eat. It was really good, too. We had a little clump of strawberries that were doing very poorly planted up against the west side of our house. They just got no morning light whatsoever. So I transplanted them into like an old window box of David's and just used it as a planter. And they're doing really well. And they're sending out tons of blossoms, and now we have strawberries. But I moved them recently to the side of the house from the backyard because they're closer to the fountain, and the fountain is scary because it's new and noisy. So we did actually manage to harvest a strawberry that the animals did not get yesterday. Which actually makes me want to get a couple more strawberry plants. And David has a couple of other window boxes that obviously we have no use for now that we're not on a balcony. I'm not a fan of them normally, but I would totally like plant like 3 window boxes full of strawberries, making it more likely we actually got to eat some of them. So I'm going to put a dark line down the middle of the groove here, mostly toward the top. I'm going to use walnut for it. Sure. Oxide red. Oh, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. Valandar. Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, here's the thing. I get this from time to time. There can be colors in MSP that look very, very close, but as far as the pigments in them are quite different. This will cause them to mix very differently with other colors. It may also influence their coverage or transparency. So cinnamon red is made with a lot of high solids red pigment, high density red pigment, and it has a bit of oxide red in it. Oxide red is a single pigment color, i.e. a clear bright, composed of a vast amount of only oxide red pigment. So the oxide red is going to be more orange-brown. And I don't think I've got cinnamon red, but it's going to be a lot closer to like a traditional red. So this is going to be earth color. Oxides are earth colors. So that's the difference. Pigmentally, chemically, how you would use it. It's a clear bright. It's a reddish brown, a brownish red clear bright. Cinnamon red is a very red red with a bit of brown to it. It does have oxide red in it, but it is mostly a traditional red pigment that's high density. So even if the color looks a little, looks fairly similar, pigmentally they're very different. When you mix a traditional red pigment with black, it goes purple. When you mix this with black, it goes to a very rich brown. So that's why I say that, like, they can look really close, and they may look really close in a bottle, but they're very, very different. Both are going to have good coverage, but oxide red probably beats out on coverage because it's got a lot of an oxide pigment, and oxide pigments cover really well. Wow, birds, really? You guys are loud today. Super loud. Like super, super loud. Yeah, we'll see. I've been watching for little plantlets. Right now, the main clump is still just spreading out. It's a very long window box, so... Yeah, I was hoping they'd send up little sprouts at either end and I could transplant those. Kernico. Oh no! That's really cute, Twisted Oma. Yeah, the birds apparently have some hot gossip, you're right. Oh, I totally forgot to do the NMM on the back of this. Well, hey, guess it's time. What do we got? Yeah, we got, 8 minutes or so. Let's actually just block this in. So this hilt is a little bit of an angle to it. It comes out and then it cuts back. So it's got a kind of diamond shape to it. So I'm going to put the highlight down and have it end right above the point where it cuts away. I'm also going to put a highlight up at the tip. Kind of blend these two together. Get a nice fade. Take some white and make sure to get the edges, especially this top point needs a highlight. But we also want to bring in a highlight right here. And we also need a little bit of a less bright highlight down here, closer to the ground. We didn't have a lot of room to do that on this other side. We can kind of suggest it. This is bounce light down at the bottom end. Ah, dinosaurs were oxide red, huh? At least some of them. That doesn't surprise me because like red/yellow pigment is and black pigment are both like really common like pigmentations, like colors in a lot of animals. So The oxide red is a really good, just basic red brown. You can mix it with other browns and blacks and get a very good naturalistic range of earth tones. So you got a little bit of a highlight here. We can bring it up just a little more. We don't want to take it right to pure white, but we can bring it up a little bit higher. If we do want to do like kind of the what I'll call the Sergio treatment, we can put a very thin white line around all the edges of the hilt to help suggest that light is reflecting off of it. Like so. Yeah, again, that's such a... I guess it shouldn't be surprising that dinosaurs are colored like a lot of today's, like, critters, right? Because so many animals, from birds to reptiles to mammals, have the paler bellies. But that means we need a rust dragon. I guess that's wyverns. They're supposed to be that red-brown color, right? And we've got this hilt part. We just have a little bit more time. So I'm going to add, there's edges on this, so I'm going to highlight them. All right, so just a little bit of shading opposite the highlighting here. Yeah, but Still Dragon isn't fun if it's like, you know, you have to paint it all rusted out. We need a rust-colored regular dragon. Though again, that's probably wyverns. Just going to pop a little more highlight on here, and then we'll call it for now, having set up our gold and at least gotten a base coat on our sword for next time. Need to bring in a little bit more shadow on the hilt as well. There we go, a little bit more shadows. Same on the front, I didn't really put a shadow in here. Also didn't bring my highlight up to white there on the part of the hilt. Maybe a rust dragon is just like a gigantic draconic rust monster. Did you ever think of that? And they collect like metal objects for their lair that oxidize because they need to make food. So their treasure is actually their food storage. And you have to hope that whatever item you find in their treasure lair isn't partially eaten. Yeah, some of those Dragon of the Month dragons were really nice too. I used to have a bunch of them. Of course, I didn't hang on to them. Small by today's standards, but that actually makes them a little bit more accessible. All right, just a little bit more highlighting on this hilt, and I think we will be ready to call it for the day. Do you guys have any questions? Any more questions? Before we decide to scamper off, and I need to go for my walk and then get ready to go to the DMV. The cursed DMV. No, they were not near to not near to that, Grey Wolf. Not even close. Very small. Because metal. I would say half to a third the size of Nathavar. Like, they would fit the Dragon of the Month. Like, they were, I don't know. I'd have to, like, some of them are quite small though. Some are a little bigger. No, it's they wouldn't let me change my address online for my registration, Grey Wolf, so I never got my sticker. So I have to go and change my address and get my sticker. It's just a pain in the butt to have to sit in line for that. All right, there we go. But they didn't really fill it, all of them, Pendrake. I mean, that was the dimensions of the box, but often they were smaller than you'd think. Yeah, some of the Dark Sword dragons are really nice, but yeah, because metal. Oh, I didn't see the Reaper Live. Reaper Live update. Oh, since it's Thursday. Do not know about Reaper Live. Y'all's guess is good as mine. I do know for sure that it will be, that Josh will be on at 2 p.m. Okay. So we don't know about Reaper Live. We do know about Josh. Yeah, they fit in that box. They were pretty small dragons. Like, I don't have a easy measuring device like right next. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so this is a 6-inch ruler. And I would say that most of those dragons in the body were between 3 and 4 inches long. Like, and the wings would sometimes be 3 to 5 inches long, depending on if they were folded or not. The bigger ones, like the Platinum Dragon, had a little bit longer body, but I think no longer than 4 inches. But yeah, like they were fairly small dragons. Like, I can remember holding them. Like, I had several, and they weren't huge. Just because, you know, the bigger you get, not only the pricier you got, but also the harder to assemble and the harder to get things to stick together. 5 inches, Iron Dragon. Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah, and Swamp Dragon. That makes sense, Valandar. Ah, yeah. Yep, yeah, they're just smaller dragons, because back in those days, remember that Reaper pioneered a lot of casting technology, guys. A lot of people forget that, but we did big dragons in metal and made it work, but yeah, and then other people, you know, started doing it. But as people understood better how to push the limits of the molds and you know, get things to fill and reduce heat pitting as much as possible. And even then, some of the really big dragons had a lot of heat pitting. Oh, Elmore number 4. Got it. But yeah, so it was little dragons. Little dragons at first. There was actually a dragon that Games Workshop put out that was the Emperor Dragon. This was way back in the Citadel days, like way back. Big dragon. I would say the first truly big dragon. But I actually saw an example of this dragon in person in a collection at one point. It was big. It was Caladrax sized big, I think. But the weight of it was collapsing it in on itself. Like the wings that used to go up, they had completely sagged because lead, right? High lead content and the immense weight of them. So yeah, like dragons have come a long way since back in the day in engineering, but there's a reason so many of them are plastic or resin now. Yep, 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 Tyronus the ultimate dragon. Yep, yep. Yep, the great Dread Dragon of Kryn. Yep, another good example of a decent sized dragon. Yeah, those are classics, but yeah, they can be hard to put together. The parts can be heavy. They can distort by their own weight, depending on how you mount them. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I kind of like that dragons tend to be more plastic and resin nowadays, because I think you can do much more interesting things and not be limited by the material, and you can make it cheaper. So yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. We got Kitty's brass bits lined up. So we don't have any open plastic now, or sorry, open metal, except for the ball of yarn and the basing. We have to figure out how I'm going to base him too. I think I'd like to do a nice base on this guy. I really like him. So I like how he's turning out. I also want to add still a little bit more work onto his normal NMM, but we'll do the sword first and the ball of yarn. So that'll be next time. We'll be doing ball of yarn and sword. And we'll have to think about, maybe we'll brainstorm a little bit about where to put him. Ugh, yuck, Valandar. Yuck. I can spot kitty litter a mile away, and I am grossed out by it every time somebody uses it in basing. I understand that it's cheap, but I can get like, like sand and gravel mixes from hobby stores that are, fairly inexpensive, and I still haven't used all of them. So yeah, no, not. It doesn't matter if it's used or not. It grosses me out. Like, it just grosses me out every time. It's a smell. Like, and just no. I'm just no. You can use kitty litter if you want, but man, I just have an adverse reaction to people using kitty litter on bases. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Today we did our gold on our kitty. We made some other adjustments and tweaked a few things, but I'm pretty happy with how kitty is coming together. And tomorrow for our Friday, we'll be working on our madam, who is also coming right along. So we need to get her whites on her upper parts put together. We also started doing the freehand. Remember etching all the freehand? So that's getting her closer and closer to done. We have to color it in like we did on this side. So I'll probably start by coloring in the red part, and then do the gold, and then maybe finish with some work on the white to shade it and bring it up. I think she is coming along really, really well. She's very close to done. I don't know that I'm going to do much for her base except to suggest a tile floor, because she's on this tiny base. I don't really want to remount her on something bigger, because she's a pretty solid figure. I don't want to break her off. But it's very easy to kind of do a very simple tile floor in the parts here that are showing. So I think I'll show just how to do that. That's just pretty easy. So we can do that. And then we'll just keep her on this base. Not an elaborate base for her, but we'll do an elaborate base for Kid A eventually. Okay. As Quindy mentioned, Josh will be on this afternoon, but Reaper Live is up in the air because of Justin and the new babe. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for good luck on my errands. Indeed, I'm hoping that it won't take forever. And I hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon, evening, or whatever time of day you're in. All right, see you tomorrow.